boy, there's been a lot of people asking me for this review, and I do apologize that it's a few days late, but these last couple of days have been so busy I just haven't had a chance to get to the movies. And I will warn you now that if any point during this review, if my brain suddenly gives birth, it's because my mind has been well and truly Hey everybody, how's it going? And welcome to my review of Joker, a Batman villain origin story starring Joaquin Phoenix as the title character. And it was written and directed by Todd Phillips, a very unusual choice considering that up until now this guy has directed such things as the Hangover trilogy, Old School, and Road Trip. He did, his most recent film prior to Joker was War Dogs, which was a little bit more serious, but yeah, now he's gone and done this. And it's a surprise because this film is a really deep, dark, disturbing character study of a mentally ill person and how society can make them snap. One thing going into this film, I've been looking forward to it, but the impression that I got from the trailers, it gave me a couple of things to be concerned about. First and foremost was how much this was actually going to feel like it was part of the Batman story. In this film, and I'm not going to give any spoilers away, obviously. Everything I'm going to be talking about is what was just referenced in the trailers. So, in the trailer, we've seen that Bruce Wayne was this small boy, and I was always a bit apprehensive as to how it was going to feel having a Joker movie without Batman, because while it's cool that they're delving into this character, the two of them are linked so heavily, and they're two flip sides of a coin, if you will. And yeah, that was one thing that I was very skeptical about. But my God, this film worked on so many levels. Where to start as far as things I liked? Everything. So look, the performances in this film are out of this freaking world. I'm not just talking about Joaquin Phoenix, which I will get to in a minute, but everybody, like Robert De Niro as Murray Franklin, this talk show host who plays a fairly integral role in the film. He was absolutely brilliant. His mother, just every single person in this film was brilliant. This orderly that Arthur talks to in order to get some information about his past, even that guy was amazing. Every small role in this film was fantastic. The cinematography in this thing is jaw-dropping. I saw it on the biggest screen possible, and I'm really glad I did, because aside from the use of lenses to really kind of go deep into the background, it also made really good use of the height of the screen as well. There were a lot of shots that just, really, the way they planned everything out. And that's the thing, every frame of this film was meticulously planned out, and you could tell just how much work went into it. The score to this film by a lady named Hilda Godner-Dutter was just mind-blowing. I believe she's a cellist, I think I read somewhere, and so it was a very string-heavy score, and oh man, it's one of those scores that you'll be able to listen to the album as a standalone thing and just relish in every note. Not only did it suit every scene, but it enhanced the scenes perfectly. But getting back to Joaquin Phoenix, my God, all the stuff that you read about how Heath Ledger went to a really dark place for his version of the Joker, this guy must have done the same. He was just perfect, and I love the fact that this movie, it told the story of someone suffering from mental illness more so from their perspective rather than outsiders looking at this person, which a lot of movies tend to do. There's a lot of movies that when a character is insane, they're insane, but this movie really puts you into this guy's mind in so many ways, which I'm not going to talk about, but yeah, it really makes you kind of understand exactly what this guy's motivations are. But while it makes you sympathize with the character, it never once condones any of his violent actions. I mean, there's a lot of talk at the moment on social media about how this film is, going to create copycats who are going to go out and murder people and blah, blah, blah. But there is never one moment in this film that justifies what he does. Like, it does give you his reasons, but they're wrong. And also going back to what I said before about my concern about how much it was gonna feel like an actual Batman villain comic book origin story. Oh yeah, they nailed it. They nailed it so well. That scene in the trailer where he's talking to little Bruce Wayne, oh my God, I loved that scene so much. I, froze when I was eating my popcorn. I was just glued to that scene. It was utter perfection. And there's a few other ways that they tie it into the Batman mythos, which again, I'm not going to say how, but let's just say it was done perfectly. And overall, I just really loved that. I mean, previous Joker origin stories, we've had him falling into a vat of acid and that's how he gets his white face and all these other things, whereas this one was just done so realistically. This is, if I was going to compare it to any other DC film, aside from the current things like Justice League and Wonder Woman, this is definitely more like Christopher Nolan's Batman trilogy. And I love that. I mean, the Joker's origin is one thing that's never been revealed in the whole history of this character. And even Heath Ledger's version, how his story about how he got the scars on his face, it always changes because there's just always this cloud of mystery around this character. And so this is, it's just a version of it. It's not the definitive origin story, even though it is a really good one and very, very plausible. But it was a solid take on the dawning of this character, and it did borrow some elements from things like The Killing Joke and The Dark Knight Returns. But overall, this film, obviously there's a lot of comparisons to Taxi Driver, the king of comedy, and the fact that they've got Robert De Niro in the film, they're not hiding the fact that they've drawn inspiration from these elements. But yeah, this is the kind of film that, even though it is a comic book film per se, it is going to stand up there with classics like that, I do think. It really did have that whole vibe, not just from the fact that it was set in 1981 and the production design in this thing was amazing. You really believed that you were in 1981. Not least of all because the Warner Brothers logo at the start was from the early 80s, so that was a really cool touch. But just the overall tone, everything about the film, just really gave off that kind of Taxi Driver sort of a thing. And there was even one scene in the film that it did kind of mimic the "you talking to me" scene from Taxi Driver. But look, if you're gonna be influenced by a movie or a couple of movies, you may as well be influenced by something like those films. So as far as things I didn't like about this film, I got nothing. Like, seriously, and to me personally, the film, even though there were moments of horror, like this character, even though you do feel sorry for him, and it is kind of a tragic character, but there were moments where you are genuinely terrified of this guy. But I didn't quite feel the movie went to depths such as movies I've seen this year, like Midsummer and Nightingale, where it really rattled me to the core. So yeah, in a way, this was still, in a way, an entertaining popcorn flick. It's kind of hard to use the word entertaining when it's a movie about a guy suffering mental illness and how society is treating him and basically turning him into this monster. But I really enjoyed it. The movie perfectly explored so many themes, such as, well, like I said, mental illness, but the way that we perceive mental illness, the way that we treat people who are mentally ill. It also explored themes of society and class, and the big sort of difference between the upper class and lower classes. And it also had a lot to say about gun control and who we're selling guns to and why we probably shouldn't be selling guns to certain people. So this was a multi-layered, deep film with absolutely mind-blowing performances, cinematography that, if anything, to be honest, I want to see this movie again just to look at it again. Like, the cinematography was that great. The score was fantastic. The editing was absolutely some of the best I've seen this year. So look, it's probably no surprise that I'm going to give Joker a 10 out of 10. Oh man, there was probably so many more things I wanted to say about this film, but yeah, that'll teach me for never writing notes. Like, seriously, I'm just going by the top of my head here, like everything that I can think about. So I guess that's the important stuff. But that's where you guys come in. So fire away down in the comments. Let's get a discussion going about this film and jog my memory about things that I might have missed. Like, what were some of your favorite moments from this film? And also, who is your favorite Joker? Like, Joaquin Phoenix is now up there with the greatest portrayals of the Joker of all time. But I mean, as far as live action ones, we've had Cesar Romero, Jack Nicholson, Heath Ledger, Jared Leto, and now Joaquin Phoenix. So yeah, who is your favorite Joker? So fire away, drop me some comments either here, Facebook or Twitter. All the social media links are in the description below, because I like to talk about movies and I would love to talk about movies with you. Catch you next time.
Click subscribe to stay up to date with all the latest movie reviews. Skynet will be taking over any day now, so what have you got to lose? Nyah.